Hey there, folks. So time and time again, I keep seeing videos and photos of kayak anglers using their kayak carts incorrectly. So now the primary goal of a kayak cart is to allow you to transport your kayak easily from your launch vehicle to your launch location. Additionally, the role of a kayak cart is to take the burden or the load of the weight of the kayak away from you having to actually carry it. And this depends very much on where you place the kayak cart itself. And I see too many anglers putting their kayak carts far in the back of their kayak, maybe because it's just simply easier to lift the kayak up and get it onto there. But I wanted to show you today how the location of your kayak cart on your kayak affects how much weight you have to bear on your arm. So this is a PDL 120. It weighs about 116 pounds with the drive and chair in place. And I'm just going to show you quickly using this scale over here that I've hung from my black walnut tree to show you how much weight variation there is depending on where the kayak cart is. So we're going to start with the kayak cart here in the back. I wanted to show you just real quick the scale on this to make sure it's correct so that you believe what you see here. So you can see it's scaled out at 0. I've got a 15-pound ball I'm going to go ahead and mount onto the scale. And there's the 15-pound ball on the scale. And there's the scale reading 15 pounds. So at least you know it's accurate. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the scale down here. And we're going to lift the kayak up to the point that you would normally hold it with your hand. So I got a pulley system here just to make it easy. All right, here we go. I'm going to lift it up. I'll lock it in. And let's see what the scale says. So here it says 58.98 pounds. So basically 59 pounds. So that is 59 pounds that you're having to carry with your arm when you're walking with the kayak like this, and you have that kayak cart way in the back. This isn't even loaded down. Imagine if you've got your fish finders on here, your batteries, rod holders, tackle, all that stuff. That's going to be even more weight. Okay, let's go ahead and distribute the kayak cart from up here to just behind the seat. So remember, at 59 pounds, that's over half the weight of the total kayak that you're having to shoulder the burden of, all on your arm when you're trying to cart this thing around. Let's go and drop this down, move the cart forward up to just behind the seat. Okay, now that we've got it just behind the seat, we've moved it forward just a few feet. We're going to see what difference this makes on how much weight you would have to have on your arm when carrying it from the front. Okay, going to go ahead and lift it up. Lock it into place. Okay, so now the weight is reading 45 pounds. So at 45 pounds, we've reduced the amount of weight by almost 15 pounds that we have to carry on our arm. So that's a greater than 20% reduction. And that's just by moving that kayak cart forward just a few feet. Now we're going to move it into a more optimal position right here below the chair. Okay, now that we have it right below the chair, we're going to go ahead and check it on the scale. Go ahead and lock it in place. Let's take a look. All right, now we're at a very reasonable 22 pounds. So as you can tell, by moving that kayak cart from the stern all the way up to underneath the chair in a more optimal position, it's bearing a heavier load than it was in the back. And that allows you to have less of a load on your arm because most of the weight is pushing down and distributed on the kayak cart itself. Now, realize this sweet spot's going to change depending on your kayak design and how much gear you have in it. For example, let's just throw some tackle boxes here in the back and see what that does to the weight load on the front of the kayak right now. So here I have a big heavy cooler full of some stuff. Now let's go up here and see what the load is on the front of the kayak. And as you can see, it's actually declined. It went from 22 pounds down to 17 pounds. You're like, how does adding weight to the kayak cause the amount of load on the front of the kayak to reduce? And that's because of leverage. So basically what's happening is the more weight you have back here, the further back the sweet spot is going to be for the kayak cart. The less weight you have back here, because a lot of the weight is distributed up front in this kayak because of the PDL weighing about 20 pounds, that PDL console. So the more weight I have back here, the sweeter spot is going to be further towards the stern. If you have less weight back here, the sweeter spot on the kayak is going to be more towards the front of the kayak. So it all depends on your kayak design and how much gear you have loaded on it. So go out and play around with your kayak and see what is going to work optimally for you. In this situation, you know, that probably weighs another 20 pounds or so, the little cooler there. In this situation, I've basically reduced the amount of load on my arm by over 30% by just moving this up into the right position. And I'm sure if I actually played around a little bit more, I could get that load on my arm to reduce even more. So if you have any questions about kayak carts or kayak cart placement, or you have comments on this video, be sure to put them below. And be sure to like and subscribe to this video if you found this content helpful. I'll put links to some reviews on different kayak carts that I've used for different heavy fishing kayaks, and which ones I think work best depending on the whole design of your fishing kayak. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Just remember, fish smarter, not harder. Bye, guys.